Everyone, and welcome back to another Ethereum video. Today's video is going to be directly aimed at Ethereum, and we're going to add a little bit of context to today's video, which is on the 21st of July 2025, and we're going to add a bit of context by going back to our video that we made 2 months ago. This was on Ethereum. First of all, we outlined the initial plan that we had outlined in the Patreon group about the targets to the downside being 1,400, and then the upside target's about 4,000. And obviously, guys, we've already had that move. We've had that major big percent move now. Whether we're at the end of this wave or not, we've had a big 160% move with leverage. Absolutely massive moves and massive gains that have been made there for many people. I don't believe this move is just over yet. However, I do believe in an impending correction, because if you can remember, guys, our primary focus from the last video that we made on Ethereum was this type of wave structure that we're looking for. And we kind of already got the first correction there, where Ethereum went in for the range bound manipulation, take the high, take the low, and then continue to the upside. That is exactly this correction that we talked about, and then heading on up into the 4,000 region, which we're nearly there now, guys. We're nearly at that 4,000 region. So just a little update on the wave structure here, and I'm going to stay the same, guys. I'm going to stick in thinking that that's a free wave, that's a free wave, that's a free wave. We're in this free wave here, potentially take the highs. I would imagine a take of the highs would be a nice liquidity grab in the market. And if we do zoom down to the lower time frame here, we'll go to the 4 hourly. We can kind of see how that would transpire in the lower time frame wave structure, because you can kind of see how we've got a 1-2 and a 1-2 within a 5 wave move there. So that potentially is third wave of the 5th wave on the lower time frame done. A little correction here and heading on into that 4,000 region would then give us our targets to then the downside. So if we can take a look at the full move to the upside right now, the potential top of that wave around 4,200, we're then looking for at least a correction back down to the 38%. So I think we need to start getting ready for the impending correction now on Ethereum and in the market. It was very bullish back in times when nobody wanted to be. April 2025, calling the bottom. And again, in this market structure, talking about the wave structure and the range manipulation to the highs and the lows, and continuation up into the $4,000 region. And we're nearly there, and as you can expect, a lot of market sentiment is becoming very bullish once again. So this is exactly what we're expecting to see. We're hearing everybody talk about the great Ethereum technology, but if you go back to the video that we made 2 months ago, everyone was still a bit skeptical. Everyone was still thinking, can these moves really actually happen? I had people telling me on Twitter that, am I drunk? Do you really think this move can actually happen? And here we are, guys. So it won't surprise me on the lower time frame to get some kind of little correction heading back down to the 3,500 to 3,600 region, and then heading on into the 4,200 to 4,000 region, before then expecting at least a correction back to the $3,000 region. And it is at that point where we start to zoom out once again and take a look at the bigger wave structure. Because if you remember what I said, guys, after this free wave move back to the upside, we are then looking for another free wave move. Whether it happens in a short sharp spike back down, something like that, very possible, back to the 2,000 region. It is possible, guys, so that is why we have to make these types of videos. Just like we have to make these videos when we're on the way to the upside. We know the possibilities and we know the targets to the upside, and now we need to make these videos on the targets to the downside as well, in terms of wave structure. So that could simply be, guys, very simply be the ending phase of this multi-year long triangle structure that we've been monitoring, the final third wave before then the actual breakout, which our targets at the minute are around $7,000-8,000 for Ethereum. A little bit more detailed view in that last video that we made. So if you want to go and check that video out, guys, it was made on the 9th of May 2025. very decent video if you want a little bit of context on how the targets can be analyzed and come to fruition. But at the minute we're monitoring Ethereum right now, and we're expecting a little bit of a pullback. Of course, you know, you do not have these types of moves in the market without some kind of 30 or 40% pullback. Every single time we start to see these types of waves transpire, you get your pullbacks, you get your pullbacks, you get your major pullbacks, and then you head into the bear market. So it could very easily be one of the first major corrections that we get. We've already had a medium correction. This could be our next major correction, get a last couple of weak hands out of the market, and then really head into the higher targets. Again, I'm thinking about $7,000 to $8,000. A very nice little wave structure here, and even a pattern. If you're a pattern watcher and a pattern follower, you will notice how that would tend to be some kind of inverse head and shoulder with the targets up and around. Let's take a look at this. Take a look at the exact targets that we've got here for Ethereum as a head and shoulder target. You know, we're talking about $6,000 or $7,000 give or take. So higher time frame, still very bullish on the market, and the market cycle not being over just yet. But we are at a point where we're expecting a pullback on Ethereum, and that undoubtedly will translate into the rest of the market. So on the extreme lower time frame, I'm expecting a push to that 4,200 region, and then we're looking for the big bullish candles to come in and get filled around 2,600, 2,800 at least for Ethereum. That could very easily just retest a long-lasting trend line, or at least take a little bit of liquidity below that trend line first before then heading on. So that could be the next major leverage trade setup opportunity, or the last major buying opportunity in the market before the alts set steam and ready to run the end of the cycle. We know what altcoins can do at the end of the cycle, and I still absolutely believe that the altcoins will have their run, and they are beginning wave ones right now, as we're expecting wave 2 pullbacks. As Ethereum goes on for this kind of wave structure and this kind of move, I think a lot of alts going for them faired and extended fifth waves to the upside, which can bring 500, thousands, 2,000, 5,000%. But you have to be in from the lows. You have to have stuck around during the bear markets, and if you're now questioning yourself and you've got no stake in the market and you're thinking, should I get a stake? Should I get a stake? Just watch out for this pullback. Watch out for that. If you can handle that pullback and enter up here, then fair enough. But not many people can, guys. This is market psychology. This is how the market works. So extreme lower time frame, expecting a push on to that 4,000 region, and then some kind of flash correction down to around 2,600. 2,700, that gives us potentially our last major opportunity before heading into the extensions around $7,000-8,000, before then looking at a much deeper correction, a more prolonged sustained correction as time goes on. But right now this is the type of wave structure that we're looking for on Ethereum. And just taking a look from a zoomed out perspective, this bullish candle in the market, in my opinion, makes the most sense to come in and get filled. Whether it does it now or whether it does in the future, these types of bullish candles tend to get filled. If you've taken my course or you're in my Patreon group, you've seen this play out countless times on the higher and lower time frame. So remember, guys, the Ethereum exit plan is on the Patreon. A lot of other exit plans are on the Patreon as well, like Curve, XRP, Bitcoin as well. So yeah, unfortunately, it is time that we have to start thinking about exit plans, and it is time for me to begin to sell some assets 10, 20, 30% to reduce a bit of exposure and reduce a little bit of risk, as we've seen some majorly nice moves. Of course, I do not think the cycle is over, and I believe the biggest gains are yet to come, especially in the altcoins, but I've seen what this market can do in the past, and after doing it for 6 or 7 years, I know exactly how the market can make you feel at these points before a flash crash. We've seen it many times in the market. So for everyone to start thinking bullishly again about the Ethereum technology in the altcoin market, it makes me want to believe that some late leverage longs are now entering the market, and a little spike down in the market for a fast wick would really do the trick and give us our potential compounding opportunity with them profits that we are taking. So just sit back, relax, guys, let the market do the work. Remember, on the higher time frame, we've got much bigger targets. And if you've got any specific questions, just give me a message in the Patreon as well. I will link it down below. I think we've got about 10 spaces at the minute available. So if anyone wants to jump on that, feel free to do so. But if you don't want to, just continue with the YouTube videos. I would urge to go back and watch this video that we made 2 months ago. Some really nice plans that we made. You can see there the exact type of wave structure that I was looking for to come up to this region and get a flash crash. So it's okay to remain bullish at times of bearishness, and it is okay to be bearish at times of bullishness. We don't have to be a bull, we do not have to be a bear. We can play both sides of these markets, guys. You don't have to choose a side and be against everyone. It's you against you. So sit back, relax, let the market do the work. Take it easy, and it's not financial advice. See you next time.